Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome on behalf of the Miramar Pembroke Pines Regional Chamber of Commerce, the Weston Florida Chamber of Commerce, and the Pembroke Park West Park Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to session 2 of our Grow with Google Bootcamp. And we have with us again, Mr. Vicente Pimienta, who is our digital expert, our digital Google coach, who's going to be taking us through today's workshop. Today's workshop is about building your professional brand and how important it is that having a strong and professional brand and a well thought out story can open up opportunities for you, especially when you're, coming into a new opportunity, new prospects. And so in this workshop, we're going to learn how to position our story in a compelling way, how to improve our online presence, and how to build a solid network. And of course, how to answer that common question that we get every time we come to an event. Tell me about yourself so that we can make a strong impression. So, Mr. Vicente, take it away.
Hello, hello. Good afternoon by a minute. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to share some information that Google has provided us. My name is Vicente Pimienta. I'm your Grow with Google Digital Coach for the state of Florida. And I've been doing internet marketing for 27 years. So I started with no knowledge and I've overcome every single step without a lot of help or resources. So that gave me the experience and know how, where are you having issues? And that's why I became a coach. I want to help you have a better, easier route than the one I had. That in all honesty, I started with black hair and look at my hair now, it's gray. So it was quite a journey, but I learned a lot and I'm here to share it with you. And some data that is being prepared by Google. And I want to say this is one of my favorite workshops because it's about your brand, your personal brand. And it's so important because people buy you, they don't necessarily buy the brand. I mean, the product, they buy you, like an insurance, a real estate agent, they buy you first. So this is very important. And this is what big companies do. And Google has prepared like a compressed version of this information so we, the small business owner, can take advantage. Now, several things I want to lay out on the table for us. The first thing is we're going to imagine that we're going to walk into this river of information where we're going to find golden nuggets in form of information. What we know is that none of us is going to be able to pick up all the nuggets. You're going to find your own nuggets, nuggets, and I might find my own nuggets. Okay, that's one thing we know. And the other thing is that if you don't do anything with that information, it's worthless. So just the second thing I should say is if I gift you a brand new Mercedes-Benz 2024, 0 miles, brand new, you don't have to pay anything. It's yours. And in a year, you want to get rid of it.
Oh, I think we lost your audio, Vicente.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
Now you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. So, ¿a dónde me perdí? What part?
What you were offering if I give you
A
something.
free Benz?
Correct.
Oh, well, thanks God they cut me there because I don't have the money to give you a free Benz. No, okay. No, the idea here is if I give you a Benz, it has some value. And if you get it's for free. But in a year you want to get rid of it, it still has value. You want to sell it and get the money. So I want you to understand just because Google is giving us this for free, it does not mean it has no value. Okay, so compare this to a brand new Benz because big companies pay millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars for this information. And it's been prepared for us. Okay, so having said that, let's move forward because this is one of my favorite ones. This is my latest book. Most recent book, a website-centric strategy, and that's my information. And this is the agenda for today. We're gonna talk about what is a brand, how a brand can grow your career, define your brand, build your online presence, and then grow your network, which is, for me, one of the most important things that we have to do. So think of a company that you like. So select a company that you like. And then let me ask you a question. What images come to your mind? What feelings do you associate with this company? So who's their ideal customer, their client, or even their target audience? Think about that company. Then what sets that product or service apart from competitors? And then how does their advertising makes you feel? This is very important because they're going after your emotions. That's where we react. How do they maintain consistency in their advertising? And this is very important. I want you to take a screenshot or a picture of this slide because it's very important. This is the core of what we're going to work in. But in order to move forward, you need to feel this and identify this for one of your companies that you like. It could be Apple, Google, Facebook, or a car manufacturer. I don't know, electronics manufacturer. Think about that because it's important. That's the same thing we are going to do with our brand. Okay, so
Vicente, are you sharing your slides? I don't think we see them.
you're not seeing my slides? Are you kidding me?
I think
wow.
we're also enthralled with the intro conversation. There we go. Perfect.
Okay, so nothing important, it's just text, nothing, you didn't lose anything. Okay, so okay, companies hire marketing professionals to help them build, their brands. In fact, a company logo, advertising language, and even the colors and fonts they use in advertising are considered part of the branding. But a brand isn't just built, by deliberate choices. It also builds over time as a result of listen to this, as a result of the experiences people have when they interact with your product or services, or even when they hear about the company and organizations from other people. So the brand isn't just built deliberate. I want you to focus on this, and I'm going to give you a real example. It's also built over time as a result of the experiences people have when they interact with your product. We all know this company called Federal Express. Guess what? It was built over time and as a result of the experiences people have when they interact with Federal Express, they had to rename it to FedEx. FedEx, we invented that name, not the company. The people started calling it FedEx. They redid their branding. You see the importance of this? So think about yourself and maybe consider you might need to rebrand your name. Okay, this is big. This is big. And you know how much money they had to pay to rebrand their name? But the market dictated that name, and that's important. It's like me. My real name is Vicente Garcia Pimienta, but since Pimienta is so catchy, so funny, they started saying Vincent Pepper, Vincent Pimienta, and they forgot about Garcia. So I had to rebrand to Vicente Pimienta, but that's not my real name. Pimienta is my mother's last name. So you see, I'm an example like FedEx. I had to evolve and rebrand myself and create a brand. Actually, Vicente Pimienta is not me, is a brand. So that's another example that I can lay out for you here. So you are a person, not a company. So what's branding got to do with your career? Well, just as companies, brands communicate their qualities and offerings. You can build a brand to market yourself as long as you grow your career. Your professional brand is made up of the unique combinations, golden nugget alert, your brand is made up of unique combinations of your career story, take notes, career story, along with your qualities, skills, and experiences. It's a way of letting potential employers, I'm sorry, educational institutions, colleges or colleagues, I should say, clients, and even mentors get a sense of what you are and what you have to offer. So a few slides back, you thought about a specific company, right? And I asked about several questions about how you perceive that brand. You can also ask similar questions about your brand. For example, what images and feelings do you want people to associate with you and your work? What qualities do you want potential employers, clients, or collaborators to know that you possess? So we're going to work with all of these things and we're going to compress this. And it's very, very important. This is where your marketing starts. You can't do it the other way around. You start by this core information and then the marketing comes next. And the design, the branding, the logo, everything has to do with this. It's like the core. So what is your ideal employer, client, or customer? Be very clear about this. Just like if you sell water, no, everybody's my client because everybody drinks water and I sell bottled water. No, 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 no. Your client is the bicycle, the guy who goes on a bicycle, the guy who goes on a boat, the guy who works on the street that needs bottled water. That's your real client, not everybody just because they drink water. So be real careful. Don't assume with these. What sets you apart from the people in the same industry or similar career path? And how can you maintain brand consistency in your marketing, whether that's your website, social media posts, or in-person interactions? Okay. While you won't necessarily have paid advertising or shopping bags with your logo, you will have a resume and a social media account, which should also reflect your professional brand. As you meet people in your field, you build your network. A strong professional brand will help you leave a lasting impression. Strong branding is helpful for everyone in the job market, but it's even more crucial if you want to start your own business or launch a freelance career. A great brand can help you freelancers, self-employed people, and small business owners attract and gain opportunities. So pay attention to this. Now that you have a sense of what a professional branding can mean for you as an individual, try to apply the same questions to a person in the public eye. So think of a public figure now, not a company, but a public figure that you admire. They could be like a performer, an activist, a political figure, or anyone in the public eye. Now, take a few moments to think about their personal branding. What images and feelings do they associate or you associate with them, right? What qualities do they possess? Who do you think is their ideal customer, client, or target audience? What sets them apart? How do they maintain brand consistency, in their marketing projects and appearances? One of the persons that comes to mind is Elton John, the pianist. One of his brand icons is his sunglasses. You will never see him with the same glasses. He always wears different glasses and very fancy suits. So that's part of his branding. So think about all of that. Now, just like your favorite company, they have integrated their branding to everything they do, advertising, social media, in-person experiences, and even their font, their logo should be, the same with your professional brand. So from your resume to your social media post to your networking conversations, every interaction you have, it's an opportunity to let people know what you have to offer. Golden nugget alert, okay? Pepita de oro. So that's what your brand is all about. It explains your background. Take note of this golden nugget alert. That is what your brand is about. It explains your background, your skills, your passions, and interests. And what sets you apart, of course, from others on the job market. It also lets people know why they should want you to work with them. Okay. In this section, we're going to go over 3 major steps you can take to build your brand. Starting today, the first thing is defining your brand. This is the order the professional companies do it. You have to define your brand before even choosing colors, fonts, and designs. Forget about that for now. So then we're going to do building your online presence and then growing your network. And for me, that is the biggest part, not because it's not difficult actually, but it's the most return you're going to get in your investment. So in this first step, defining your brand, I will lead you through some exercises that will help you get a better understanding of your professional brand as you create your brand statement. This is huge. Your brand statement, it's going to dictate, literally, dictate how the brand is going to look. Okay, so the brand statement, you probably won't have one made already because for the small business owner like you and me, this was like something like it's not important. But this is what big companies do to be successful. And that's why we want our community to learn about this and implement them as much as they can, right? Because that's what we're here for, to help each other grow together. So in this second and third step, you learn about actions that you can start immediately after this workshop to build your brand. For this step, you'll need a pencil and paper, or you can take notes on a Google Doc. But take notes because we're about to head into Golden Nugget Alley. So we're going to find a lot of golden nuggets here. Okay. The first step towards communicating your brand is to figure out your brand statement. So your brand statement, this is where the Mercedes-Benz starts to feel the comfort inside. Visualize yourself already inside the car. Your brand statement will be 1 or 2 sentences. Boom. Which quickly let someone get to know you and your work. It's like the elevator pitch. So it tells them your career or your educational history and lets them know where your career is heading or your company. In this case, we're talking about personal brand, but it applies to companies. You will use your brand statement to communicate key information about you to potential employers, clients, and other collaborators. You may include it in your resume, in your professional networking emails, or during an in-person conversation. These are 2 sentences that you're going to memorize. And when somebody asks you, what do you do? That's what you're going to spit out. Not start thinking, no, what happens is that when I was young, no. You have to have like these 2 sentences laid out, memorized, because that's the core of your marketing. So in a few moments, you'll write your own brand statement, or at least I'm going to give you the guidelines so you can go and write them later. Okay. But let's focus by focusing on your career story. So a significant part, I should say, about your brand statement will be telling about your career story. And I'm going to talk about mine so you can maybe relate or translate it into your story. And because you probably have a more interesting story than me, but I want to give you like a parallel real story so you understand. Your career story helps people understand who you are, where you're coming from, and what you have to offer. Like all good stories, it's important to start at the beginning. Have you ever noticed that in movies about like superheroes or supervillains, the audience almost always learns the hero's origin story so they can understand why they behave the way they do. So your career story serves a similar purpose. If we don't know that, We don't know why you're acting like that, right? So your life or work experiences have made you the person you are. And they contribute to the way you approach your career. We all do it in a different way. That's what we need to, catch, bottle, and put it in these two sentences. So you can start your career story by talking about the experiences that made you want to go into your career. For me, I started in 1994. I started connecting to the internet, and I wanted to do a website by myself. In 1994, the internet sounded like it was like 1400 BPS. It was like sending a fax back then. But it was so difficult for me to learn how to do a website and to put a website and do online marketing and have business online in 1996. 2 years later, after I did my first website, I decided that I was going to help people like me, small business owner, learn this thing or help them set up a website so they can do what I had just accomplished, but in an easier way. So that is why that's part of my why I'm doing this, right? So you have to find your own way, like your career story may also include, time away from work. Let's say you were not working for a year, maybe COVID or something. So lots of people have experiences that they have breaks in employment. So they have taken time off, or maybe to raise children, or maybe care for a family member, or number of personal reasons. But if you had a break in employment because of layoffs during an economic downturn, don't let a break in employment keep you from applying for jobs. They are part of your career story too. Turn it into a positive thing. Just be prepared to discuss your breaks in employment with recruiters or hiring managers. If you spend your time away from work, maybe volunteering, taking classes, or gaining other valuable skills, be ready to share that information in an interview because it's valuable. It says a lot about you. So now that we've talked about your past, let's talk about your future. Okay. So sharing your professional goal with other people will help you, because they will know where you're headed, and it may help them decide that they want to work with you. So, for example, for me, um, that's why I became an educator, and that's my passion, and I have to include that in my future, right? This is where I want to go. Is I want to be an international keynote speaker and help business owners around the world, and that's what I've been doing in the last 7 years. So yes, it's very important to tell them, where do you come from, why you're doing it. You're resolving a problem or alleviating a problem to somebody else, and where are you heading. Keep in mind that your professional goal is likely to change over time, and people often make decisions to make changes to your career, and often your goals change along with them. So um, it's okay if they change, but understand them as today. So take a picture of this one, because these are the questions you need to make yourself before you start your brand statement. And here I strongly suggest you use Gemini AI to gather the answers of these questions, and go there and ask Gemini to help you create your brand statement in 2 sentences. So, what led you to become interested in the type of work you're doing, right? Who influenced you along the way? In my case, it happened that it was a neighbor that had an internet company, and actually, pretty much he mentored me to start doing some of the services that I now do. So, if you could accomplish anything, what would it be? And you have to put now your future goals and what is the most important problem, or issue that you want to improve or address. What is the first big step you'd like to take towards your dream career? So all of these things must be put in writing. And for now, just put the general ideas. You don't have to refine them. We're going to do that next. Okay. So to complete your brand statement, this exercise is the Mercedes-Benz that we're giving you for free. So make sure you make all these steps. Don't assume, don't skip, because you're losing part of your car. If you skip, you're going to drive with half of the car. Okay. So to complete your brand statement, you'll need a few more details that describe the way you do your things. First step will be to make a list of the things you want a potential employer or coworker know about you. These can be qualities you possess, like being honest. Today, that's so hard to find. Being honest and hardworking. Or they can be like specific skills you have or activities you're involved in, like community organizing, volunteer work, activism, or even athletics. So if you get stuck, think about words other people use to describe you. That's something very powerful. People tell you how they see you all the time. I remember at early stage when I was doing internet, I've been doing this for 28 years. But let's say when I was like 10 years into the internet, I was very early in the game. And a lot of people said, you don't know what you're worth. You don't know. And I was just like, I just know how to do a website. And they were repeating me, you don't know what you're worth. And that stuck. And I didn't realize that I had information so early in the game. And they were right. So today, knowing to do a website is worthless, but back then it had a lot of value. So listen to the people around you. They will they will describe you in ways one ignores. So that's important, So do you enjoy your sense of humor? Um, do they seek you out when they need to talk through tough issues? So, make a question yourself. So people around you, do they come for advice? So those things are important to consider. Now, write your brand statement. So we're gonna do keep it to 1 or 2 sentences. We're going to compress this later on, but take a picture of this because you need to write this. Sit down, not now, but you're gonna have to sit down because your brand statement should give people a sense of who you are, where you're coming from, and what special thing you have to offer. And believe me, you have special things because we all do. You're not an exception. Okay, so here are a few examples. I am trained improv comic who uses humor to get people excited about STEM fields. This is like an example, no? Or I am a journalist who brings attention to important social issues in my community. Those are powerful sentences. I am a former short order cook opening my own food truck to make delicious, healthy food available to people in my community. You see, it's powerful, it's memorable, it's right to the point. So, as I mentioned before, aspects of your career story should be integrated into materials you use to market yourself professionally. Okay, so this is like your brand statement is a great first step towards building your professional brand. Okay, I'll give you my brand statement, which will be updated after this training because every time I deliver this training, I think about my brand statement and I modify it every time. And I do this training every month. So this is my previous one before modification. I help small business. What do you do? Somebody asks me in an elevator. I help small business owner. I've been helping small business owners transition from traditional marketing into e-commerce for the last 28 years in a fun way, practical way, providing digital skills and tools. Boom. pretty much I've told them I've been for 20 something years in the industry. What I do, I help them from here to there, providing something in a fun way, easy way, and boom, boom. That's it. So you have to make it really, it's your elevator pitch, you know? So as you start to communicate your brand in your website, your blog, your social media presence, and in your personal, you know, in your conversation, find opportunities to incorporate your brand statement. And you have to memorize this because this is a tricky part. When you go like to a interview, this is the trickiest question they're gonna throw at you. In an interview, tell me about yourself, and they shut up and let you talk. This is scary. Tell me about you. And if you don't have your brand statement, you're gonna make a mistake. You know about TMI, too much information. We have that sickness. We give out too much information, and that sinks us. It takes away opportunities. So that is why your brand statement is so important. Just give them what you have already prepared and memorized. And I read a book so important. It's called When to Keep Your Mouth Shut. After you do your brand statement, you keep your mouth shut. If they are quiet for a minute, you're going to be quiet for a minute and 10 seconds. Let them talk now because it's their turn. If you cough or clear your throat, now it's your turn to talk again. This is so important to make that silence after your brand statement. This is as powerful as your brand statement itself. So both of those things, you have to play that card. Okay. So big golden nugget that I gave you right there. That's a brick, a golden brick, a brick of gold. Okay. So congratulations, you have started building your brand at this point. You know, it can help you speak and write about yourself as a potential employee. Now think of all the ways you can use your brand statement to market yourself in a potential employee, you know, as a potential employee or collaborator. So let's say you're in the elevator and somebody asks you, what do you do? Boom, your brand statement. Now, let's build your online presence. And this part goes along with your brand statement. Okay, your brand statement describes you as a hardworking, determined, and community-minded, person. And that's what you want to represent. So let's talking about how can you promote your brand online? There's a lot of things here that you already know, but it's important. You know, everything you post online can be and will have an impact on your professional brand. So make sure you use the right tone and golden nugget alert. You have to have your professional brand accounts, your social media, your YouTube, your Twitter, your whatever you have, Facebook, Instagram, separate from your personal accounts. This is a golden nugget, okay? You have to have them separate. No matter what your brand is, you have to have them separate. Make sure your tone on your social media is always professional and positive. On your personal brand, you don't want to talk about religion unless you are part of that is part of what you do. You don't want to talk about politics unless that's part of what you do. And you don't want to talk about, sensitive issues or make an opinion on another post because they will see the interactions. Anybody can go and see your interactions, and then if you have a political view that somebody else doesn't like, you're losing an opportunity right there. Okay, so building, a following for your business and or your professional work or social media may seem overwhelming at first. We all start with 0 followers, but remember, you don't have to be everywhere at once. Pick 1 or 2 platforms to start with. Depending on what you do, there are certain platforms that are better for that. Like for news and what's happening now, X, former Twitter is like the platform to go and spit out what you think. And maybe like for images and and people who do have to show their work in images, Instagram works better. So just pick one or two. In other cases, um, you can choose one only, the right platform for you. Try to find out other people like you, where are they marketing themselves. And let me tell you, LinkedIn is one, if you're looking for a job or it's your personal brand, LinkedIn could be one to consider strongly. They call it the Facebook of people who have a job. So, okay, so just focus on a few. Now, photo and video sharing sites like Instagram and TikTok allow you to post and share photos and videos with friends and general public. Photos and videos can be used to build your professional brand, especially if you work in a field where your work can be presented. So microblogging like Twitter allows you to share your thoughts in just a few sentences. And these sites can be a good way for writers and other content creators to communicate with a wide audience. Social media sites allow you to stay in touch with people you know and meet new people. Some social network sites allow you to set up a profile for a business, others not. But if you set up a business account, make sure to keep your postings strictly about your business. Okay? Making and sharing content can be a great way to help people learn about you and what you do. One thing I've learned, and it's in my book, is we hate salespeople. We don't like to be sold onto, like a salesperson running after you. So try to avoid that when you're recording videos or making images. It's not about selling, it's about exposing yourself, make them aware that you're out here to start a relationship with them. Then after the relationship starts and they gain some trust on your brand, they will contract to buy from you or not. That's the way it works. We don't buy from people we just met. Until I know who you are, I won't give you my credit card. So if you post about selling to you, you're not doing a favor to your brand. Okay. It's better to portray yourself as a professional, that you're giving free information and you're available for questions in order for the customer to come to you for answers. It's attracting them, not persecuting them, how it works. Remember, I come from a car dealership. I used to sell for Chrysler brand new cars, and I was persecuting people. I know how it feels, how bad it is. In this internet era, is the other way around. You attract people with good content. Okay, so manage your privacy online, because they're going to check you out. They're going to check you out. When you apply for a new job, chances are they're going to check you out. So start your browser. This is an exercise I want you to do and find out what is out there about you before you start putting yourself out there. And in order to do that, you first need to open a browser and log in like incognito or private mode. So all of the cookies that you have placed won't interfere in this search, and it'll give you fresh results about you. Okay, so I want you to open a browser and like a Chrome browser, and click on new incognito window and search for yourself. Search for your name. Okay, before you get started, this exercise is optional. Okay, you're going to perform an internet search about yourself. Wait, before you begin your search, make sure you have privacy and no one else can see your screen, since it's hard to know in advance what kinds of results may come up. This exercise is designed to help you find out what potential employees, collaborators, or educators may see when they search for you. But if you don't go into incognito, you're not going to see, or private mode, you're not going to see what they're going to see. Because the first time you search for yourself is a different result than after you've searched several times about yourself. Incognito or private will resolve that. Okay, so do that exercise. And no matter what you find, doing this internet search will allow you to be prepared in case of a potential employer, client, or collaborator if they have questions about your search results. And to look for your search results not only on the search, but on the tabs, images, news, on the news. I've had people where they have had issues in the past. They come in the news, in the front page of a newspaper, and when you search their names and click on news, boom, you have that there. So you might find results from other people that use your own name, the same name, and that might give a wrong impression about you. So you might not find much at all, and that is okay. You might find something positive, like a good review of your business, or a volunteer project that you worked on. But consider sharing that on social media or a website if you have one. You might find results that are embarrassing or just don't feel on brand for you. If this happens, ask yourself, is this something I have control over? If your search results brings up something that you rather people not see if you can delete it. If it's on social media accounts, sign into that account and change it, to private. If the content is included on someone else's website or social media page, you can go and ask them to remove it. If your search brings up something that you don't have any control over, like a negative online review of your business, that's good information to have so you can be prepared to address it if necessary. Okay, if you want to be able to post things on social media that will not align with your professional brand, set your personal social media accounts on private. Okay, it's very important. So that is a golden nugget right there. Now, review your privacy by just visiting myaccount.google. Check it out. Take a picture of this link, golden nugget alert, myaccount.google.com/privacy checkup. Browse the privacy settings and make adjustments as needed. This you should do yesterday, right after this workshop is done. Go there and start by doing that. Okay, now you've learned several tips and steps you can take to grow your brand online, identifying the right platforms, keeping tabs on your search results, managing your privacy settings on social media accounts, and performing a privacy checkup. Now, building a strong online presence for your professional brand doesn't happen overnight, but with steady progress, smart choices, and consistent monitoring, you can grow your brand so that potential employees, collaborators, and clients can learn about what you have to offer and connect with you. That is so important. Now, growing your network. This is huge. And I have to share a personal experience. We don't have a lot of time, but I am here representing Google under the Grow with Google program because of networking. I went to an organization called Prospera USA 8 years ago, and I was a pro bono speaker with them. And when Google came looking for a person to be the Florida coach, they talked to Prospera, and Prospera referred me. That is networking. Because I went to a Prospera network, I met them and I started going to their events. So that's why I'm, from the beginning of this workshop, pointing out networking is the biggest key. Okay. So start by asking yourself a few questions. Who should you meet in order to continue growing your brand and career? This is, okay, this is something I learned. This is not in the training. You have your to-do list. Everybody has your to-do list. But you know what the problem with the to-do list is? It takes you nowhere. It takes you to the bank. It takes you to take your kids to school. It takes you to the post office. It takes you to office. It takes you to a same client. It's a circle. It takes you nowhere. You have to have your to-do list, but you have to have a second list. And it's called your success list. Has nothing to do with your to-do list. What are the things I need to do to advance my career? What are the people I need to meet to continue growing my brand and career? That has nothing to do with the to-do list. So from today on, I want you to have your pepper list, your success list, not you have to have your to-do list, but I want you to have your pepper. Remember this like a pepper list, your success list. What are the steps? Maybe I need to buy equipment in order to get more revenue. Maybe I have to hire somebody to expand my business. What are those steps to grow your business? What kind of people should you know about, what kind of people should know about you, I should say, um, in order for you to continue growing. Okay. So once you've identified the kinds of people you want to meet, you can take steps toward meeting more of them. Maybe I meet realtors. So where is the Realtor Association meeting next time? I'm going to go there and do networking. That's your success list, not your to-do list. You get it? Through the chat. Send me a number one if you understand what your success list is and how important it is. And they don't teach us this. We figure it out on our way, on our, having issues. So this networking thing excites me, as you can tell, because it has worked for me. So LinkedIn is one of the best networking sites, and Handshake is the second one, especially for college students. Now, professional networking sites allow you to interact with other users and companies. So this is an opportunity to showcase accomplishments in your field. Yes, Mara Charlton, yes, you're like me. You feel it. Okay. um, Here on the LinkedIn, you share your volunteer work, you post articles about your industry, engage in discussions. So this is the place where you can start establish yourself as a pro, you know? Now, mentors, we all have had, maybe you don't have it, but at least I have had several mentors that play a special role in my career. And they're dear persons in my life. They're little angels. So a mentor is generally someone who has more experience than you. I told you when I started on the internet, my neighbor had an internet service provider company, and he pretty much mentored me into the industry. So you can meet mentors in educational settings or even in classes you take outside of your work, but you may also meet them through friends and networking. Finally, you can find a mentor at your current job. If you're lucky enough to have a great manager, and if you identify someone else that you think that you can learn from them, there's nothing bad about hanging out with people that know more about you. Actually, we should be doing. We should be hanging out with people that know more about me. Bill Gates, not because Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs said once, why would I pay $500,000 a year salary to an engineer and tell them what to do? I pay them $500,000 a year to tell me what to do. So it's like mentoring me. And it's so important to hang out with people and contract people that know more about you and learn from them. Our brain has to be like a parachute. Parachutes only work when they're open. So that's how our brain is. Okay. So I see Marisela there taking notes. That's good, Marisela. Oh, yeah, well. Okay, so we're running out of time. Take a few moments to think about whether you have mentors and advocates in your career. The difference between a mentor and advocate, a mentor will mentor you, will teach you, an advocate will connect you. You see, Prospera USA was an advocate. They pretty much championed me, connect me, supported me into Google. So that's an advocate. A mentor is my friend who told me how to do business on the internet. You see the difference? So it's important for you to identify each one of them. Companies have advisory groups. Actually, I'm part of an advisory for a Millennial Atlantic University for the technological, all the tech and marketing curriculums. I'm an advisor for them. Actually, I have a meeting next month to discuss their curriculum. They all have boards of directors and group of industries. And what you have to do is have your own. These are volunteer people that know more about you. And you don't have to have the board of directors like physically. You can do them virtually or have them separate. but they will help you in the decision making. Let's say you have like a decision to make and you don't know, you have to go to these board advisors, people that are mentors and advocates of yours and people who care about you and share your thoughts and create, one of the best books I've read in my life, and I've read them like 12 times because it's a book that you have to read many times, is Think and Grow Rich. And Think and Grow Rich, you have like a mastermind. When you put several minds together, oh, that's a powerful machine. And this is what you do with your board of members. You do like a mastermind. When you put 3, 4 brains into solving one issue, it's powerful. It gets resolved. Okay, so today you took your first steps towards building your personal brand and driving out with a brand new Benz. What's the color of your choice? So we started by discussing how companies use branding to build their reputations and learn how individuals can build your own professional brand and take your career to the next level. You define your brand statement and figured out how to respond when somebody asks you, tell me about yourself. What do you do for a living, in an interview or in an elevator, meeting, or networking site? Maybe you're at happy hour. What do you do? Bam, my brand statement. I help small business. I've been helping small business owners for 27 years transition from traditional marketing into digital marketing, providing fun educational tools and skills. Boom, you see? So you have to have it there. Fine, and you modify it every time you need to. Okay, this is not written in stone. Okay, so finally we looked at strategies to expanding your networking, and we discussed finding mentors and advocates around you, and you started thinking about your board members and directors. Okay, so this workshop was just the beginning. Now that you know how to start thinking about your brand, here are some action steps you can take right now. First, incorporate your brand into your professional portfolio or your personal marketing materials, like your resume or social media profiles. If your resume has a summary statement, make sure it reflects your career story and the skills, qualities, and talents you brainstormed earlier. That's why taking notes is so important. You can also experiment with design elements and wording choices that fit your brand. Just make sure your resume remains clear and easy to read. Use Gemini AI to help you create this. Put all these notes into it and ask it to be your brand positioning statement manager and help you create this brand statement for you. Okay, and play with it. Search for yourself online. If you find anything that feels off brand or that you wouldn't want a potential employer, colleagues, or business owners to see, address it if you can. Some things you can't address. One good thing is posting a lot of things with your name on it. So whatever you have there that you don't like, it goes to the second, third page, fourth page results. So create new content with your name on top, golden nugget, like a post, a blog, you post about yourself a lot, and there's a lot of information that's going to show up and, dump or push to the second, third page what you don't like. Okay, pick 1 or 2 social media platforms to begin posting or sharing on brand content regularly. Okay, you're gonna have to post at least once per day if you want to do serious stuff. And third, build your network and go networking, find mentors, advocates, people that think like you, organizations like this one. You have to be going, you have to show up. You have to show up. And that's how you find mentors, advocates, and all that. Right, Angie? And I went to your last in-person meeting. I don't know if that was the most recent one or last one, the most recent one, but the energy is fantastic. So I love it. That's where I got into Google. So I'm an advocate of that for sure. Now take a moment and think about all the topics we've covered. Can you write down at least one thing that you will do next to start your action plan? Please write something, take action, because you know what? You're going to take some gold here, nuggets, golden nuggets. and they have some value. But if you don't use that gold to exchange it for bread, food, or turn it into jewelry, now it has more value because it's a jewelry, to sell it and get your return on your investment of this time, you're losing an opportunity. Take those golden nuggets and turn it into an action plan. This is part of your success list of things you need to do to be successful. This is not your to-do list. If you can do something from today on, it's your success list. Maybe you need to read some books, get some certifications. I don't know. Maybe buy equipment, find funding, get an associate with funding, an investor. I don't know, whatever it is, go write it down. And you know what I've learned? That this is like going up a ladder. The steps have to be very short and small. That way you can take a step every day or every couple of days. If your ambitions are too big and the steps are too high, it's going to be very difficult and you're going to get frustrated. Okay? 2 sentences and practice. I love it. To search, please provide that link to search. What link, Samantha? Can we get your own name tag for networking events? Oh, that's a great tip, Angie. Yes, has plenty of networking opportunities, that's for sure. So if you enjoy video lessons, subscribe to Grow with Google at YouTube, click continue learning, and check this out. These are certificates that Google is putting out there. These are just a few: data analytics, digital marketing, e-commerce, IT support, project management, cybersecurity, UX design. And this is what I have to say from my experience. Remember, I told you I've been doing this for 28 years. It's going to be 28 years in December. And I was required to take the digital marketing and e-commerce training certificate to continue being a Google coach. This is new, by the way. And, I said, well, I've been here doing this for 28 years. This is going to be a piece of cake. And I did it. And I did it in a record time. It's probably 2 weeks. And I did it like in 6 days. But that's not the point. The point is the amount of things that I learned, the amount of things that I was skipping because I was assuming, the amount of things I had forgotten to do was amazing. So for a veteran, a 27-year veteran, going into this and learning from it is huge. So what you're going to take away from these certificates is fantastic. So that's my 2 cents on this. And the link to do a search for myself, Samantha, you go to Google, but make sure your browser, if you're using Firefox, Safari, Google Chrome, it doesn't matter what browser you're using. Make sure you look in the file settings, a select private or incognito mode, and it's going to open a new browser, like darker maybe, or with is a little different. Now you're incognito mode in the browser. Now you go to google.com and search for yourself. But the browser, you have to select incognito mode. So it won't read or save any cookies when you're in this session. Once you close it, you're going back to your regular browser. And some people like to navigate the net in private mode, so no cookies will come into your computer, but it has some defaults. It has some issues. Some companies, if you don't let them deposit a cookie, like bank accounts, they won't let you move forward. So it's a give and take. Anyways, you can learn more if you go to google.com/grow and be ready for this one. These are 4 golden nugget links. And Samantha, I hope I answer your question. Google will be one-on-one. No, is the google.com/grow one-on-one? No, it's recorded videos and trainings and certificates. There are like on demand. Okay, so pretty much here you have Google Analytics, Google AdWords, Google Business, and you want to register for the next workshop. So pretty much I'm going to share with you my links for my social media, my emails, and everything you need in order for you to follow me, and I can follow you and my book. So pretty much I have a feedback. I need some feedback from you. Google wants to hear from you, from our community in particular. So this feedback is only for people who attended workshops. So please, if you can go to this site, and they're going to ask you what coach gave you the training. Select Florida, because there's only one coach per state, and the training is your brand. Your brand, making your brand, and then they're going to ask you what is it that you want to see on your next training. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Mara. Oscar, now I haven't seen you in a while. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, Maria. I'm going to stop sharing. Thank you, Angie. And I would love to see if there are any other questions before we leave.